Well, hello there. I'm gonna be talking about the Abyss tournament that I just participated in these last few days. That was the Shogunate Special Invitational, hosted by Rin and Cardi. And we had a total of 4 participants, different content creators. It was a bit more casual than other kind of tournaments like that. But yeah, I'm just gonna be talking about everything because I love the experience. It was really fun, and my vote kinda sucks because I don't have their point of view. At least I don't have like everybody talking to. So I thought I would add a bit to it, just talking about all of the thoughts, everything that was going on in my head while I was going through the tournament. It's gonna be semifinals and finals. I guess that's the first spoiler. At the very least, we made it to finals. But yeah, pretty excited for this one because it was really fun, and I love everything that was involved into this tournament. So yeah, obviously first things first. Huge shout out to Rin for hosting this, Cardi for helping with everything at the same time. And then we have, all of the content creators and even moderators for participating. And in the tournament itself, I wasn't talking all that much because I was pretty concentrated, you know. I did want to do pretty well. Maybe I focused a bit too much even. And I was a bit shy around everybody because, you know, I didn't know if it was my moment to talk at any point. But yeah, I guess I'll compensate now by just yapping. I'll do a lot of yapping now. So hopefully this gives you all some insight and helps in any way. So for the drafts, they are, I cannot stress this enough, they are so important, all of the picks and bans. We're talking about more things, I guess actually first. Let's see how distracted I get and how much I deviate from where I'm supposed to go. But basically, this tournament is more, as I said, I did say that it was a bit more casual, but basically I'm not gonna be showing their POV because I don't know, there's not that much that I can add to it. And it would be like way too long of a video if I added all of the POVs for all of the matches and all of that. So I'm just gonna be talking about like what was going on in my head with all of that.
It's kind of awkward actually.
And yeah, then again, for like, I believe for like everybody, it was their first time doing this kind of tournament where they have to do picks and bans. It wasn't my first time. I think it was my third time participating in a tournament like this. I mean, this was a little bit different. The rules were a little bit different, feel free to ask me anything. And if you don't want to see the full POV, I'll also leave a link for Rin's VOD, which is going to be way better for this kind of thing. They also have it posted on YouTube. But hey, if you want to just chill here with my point of view, that's also cool. Am I going to spoil anything? I don't know.
No.
I guess we'll find out based on the title. But in any case, we had actually some pretty nice players. They did really well considering it was their first time. I definitely had quite the advantage, admittedly, but I think it was still pretty fun, and we all got to learn and have some fun, which is the most important thing. So anyway, and I was extremely thankful to even be invited because I love these kind of things, and hopefully I can organize myself something like this in the future. Or something of the sort, because I've been practicing a little bit, or not like practicing, more like testing some different formats that I may be using myself in my community, adapted a bit more to a bit more casual players, you could say, or a bit targeted a bit more towards more regular players instead of tryharders like me. But yeah. I guess first of all, I'll be going over the bans. So, I didn't really know which characters all of the opponents had, so I just kind of went for whatever. To be completely honest, I was just focusing on going for some of my favorite characters, Hudao, Yolan Shincho, Bennett Shanglin, Fischl, the kind of characters that always do pretty well, you know. And since there's a point system, Oh yeah, I guess I should explain that too, right? There's a point system. You can only have 10 points, and each 5-star is 1 point, and if you have constellations, that's another point. For standard banners, it costs less points, and on top of all of the points, in this case, we also get to pick 4 5-star weapons, and one of them gets banned by chat. Those are the base rules, essentially, and we were also incentivized to use Shenyun and Gamin, two of the two new characters that I love, by the way. But yeah. So. First I picked Furina. I kind of forgot the order, because there's like an order of picks and bans. But you see it to the right, you can see all of the characters that I chose. No, I'm not French, by the way. But yeah, Furina, Bennett, Yelan, Shincho, Hutao, Shinun, and Sucrose. Wait, I have one more character that I can't even see myself. And Yamiko, yeah, that was the last one. So I kinda go for the supports first, and then the different possibilities of main DPSs that I could do with the same supports I do at the end, because the supports are kinda like the core of the team. So I just kinda think of it like that. I'm sure there would be something a bit more efficient. Also take into account what my opponent is getting, in case I can ban something that they would usually want to get. Like I don't know, like at the beginning, since I got Shincho and Yelan, they got Nahida, but they cannot do Hyperbloom anymore. They can do other themes, like with Visual, how they chose later, which was a pretty smart move. But I can still do obviously great things with my Yelan and Shincho. They pop off. So yeah, doing certain picks maybe a little bit earlier, taking into account what they may have or what they may want to do, at the same time as all of the restrictions that we have for the current abyss is a lot of things again. So yeah. That's basically where I went. For the teams, within the characters that I had, I could have chosen a bunch of different teams. I really wanted to do Planch Tao, because right now it's kind of like my favorite team, because it's so much fun. So I just went for that. I went for a Planch Tao on the second half, and a bit of a Taser, kind of Taser Hyper Yamiko on the other side. And they banned my stuff of Homa, which is kind of sad, as you can see. But for the artist, I cannot change anything. Okay, that's a bit more messed up than I thought. I was pretty sad. Because not only they banned my weapon, but I cannot change any artists. Which means that I couldn't go for Dragon's Mane and switch to like an HP Sounds or something like that to balance that out a bit more. Would be funny to go for Black Leaf. Maybe it would have been better to go for Dragon's Mane, as I said. Maybe. The thing is that if I use Dragon's Mane, I have 5:31 AM, so I'm not sure if I want to do that. What do you think? I think that would have been better. Maybe it is better. I went for Black Leaf. I could be wrong. At least aesthetically. That's with Hunters, so that's the most 100 crit, by the way. And this double hider. I'll just rock with the Black Leaf. It was my first weapon. Good old days. Because I didn't have Dragon's Bane for the longest time, so I think that'll be cute. Yeah, so in any case, as I mentioned, I went for Taser and Planch Tao on the second side. You won't be seeing that little wiggle on the side, so don't worry about it. That is gonna go away here in a second. There we go. So also the opponent chose my card and I chose their card, to make sure that it was that they chose the worst card possible and vice versa. Sometimes it wasn't necessarily like that. It wasn't that serious again. So it was pretty important for me. It was high stakes for me. So I did make sure to do well. At least I was trying within reason. But yeah, I started with Shincho, triple triangle Yamiko. I messed up the grouping. You know why I messed it up? Because I didn't know the strat that I do know now. You just basically run past the two enemies, and they just barely, just a little bit, like I don't know, 1-2 more meters. Then they pass them, and then they group together. They just group themselves together. You don't have to do anything else. And this looks pretty sad. Yeah, sometimes I did manage to group them up without doing that specific strat, but it's so much easier if you do it like that. But if you have any questions or want to see any other examples, well, twitch.tv/milkimpack, you know it, be there every day. I did love the fact that we had the lecture for these ones, because on this second wave of enemies, whenever they spawn their Dendro shields, it can be so annoying. They can destroy you so quick. But yeah, Yamiko burst then just to finish them off, and I was trying to basically have Bennett's burst active whenever I use Yamiko's burst. I didn't have much ER on Yamiko. I'm used to having her on a different build, and yeah, basically always with Fischl. So it's usually not that much of an issue. If you do want to see any of my builds, you can see them on my Enka. I guess I'll link it on the description too. I guess I'll be linking a whole lot of things.
But I hate when they have,
and that's how we did the first one.
I want to save the burst, but it also takes like.
It's pretty awkward, yeah. So I was saying just pretty awkward to just have those moments right there.
Without power.
And then for this one, apparently there's another trick for it to do an animation, the one where it rolls around, where you have a bit more time to go for the boss. I didn't know about it, and I still haven't gotten the hang of it. I was told by Dado, an insane Abyss player,
a bow character,
that does more of these kind of tournaments, how to do it, but I have to look into it a bit better. And so yeah, I'm definitely excited to learn more about some of the things, but from Prina to Yelan Shanyun, it's a pretty low investment, Shanyun, admittedly, but holy, they destroyed, look at that. And they just went away right away into the tornado, which is the worst thing that can happen. But look at this, look at this.
Rough. Yo, that's sick.
That was cool. I just thought of it on the fly. I was like, hey, yo, I can actually probably just run away from this thing, right? I usually just stay in the middle, and that's it. But yeah, here I just basically saved the burst, and that's it. It was really nice. I'm sure I could one cycle it with the right with the right what it's called, with the right animation, if it didn't just run away. But yeah, I loved just in my down on that first one.
Yeah, I'll be
and even though I could have chosen like some more balanced themes, so the first side wouldn't be so sad. Yeah, I had so much fun just in this one. So definitely a good reason for me to do that. You know, I felt comfy enough just doing something like this. I think it made sense too.
Okay.
So yeah, after every chamber I did, my opponent did their chamber, or if they started first, I did it after. So that was also pretty interesting to see. But we're just skipping to my second chamber.
I'm excited for the Shincho skin. Anyway,
what am I doing? Shincho, a little jump cancel. Funny. Yeah, this guy's gonna be pretty annoying. The way he went to the side when I was just behind it, that was so rude. And it's kind of wonky, honestly. This team was kind of weird to even put together, but ended up working well. It's just the crocodile that I hate because sometimes it just runs away. But here we are. I don't know. It's just there's not that much to it on this one, I guess. Oh, one turret less. Yeah, I knew it right there when I did it, like, oh, it just disappeared then one of the turrets. I didn't get the last action on all of the turrets before the burst. Mad we didn't quite get it. But I basically try to have Hydro and Electro auras on the team, so I can then go to Sucrose roll both of the elements, because most of the damage is coming from Shincho and Yamiko, as it is to be expected, and the other ones are more like buffers. So I do want to get those doubles rolls and then have Bennett there to buff. I didn't want to get hit too hard there, because they can be pretty annoying. I'm used to doing Yamiko on field because Yamiko is a nice visual driver, but here probably better to do Sucrose on field, to be honest. Though I do have the basics leveled up a little bit. But yeah, it was also pretty cool to see people's reaction to like this team. It was pretty cool to see it popped off. So I did get hit right away. I messed up the timing just by a little bit, but I do know my one-at strats pretty well, not gonna lie. It always does the same things essentially. I'm planning to make a video talking about it, but it basically always pops from underground or the side, and then if you stay there on that bottom left corner, it appears right there, and then on the opposite corner if you don't go to any other corner, because it always goes to the opposite one. I think I didn't get the skill off, but it's basically all about timing the skills, given what it does. If you stay on that corner, it goes to that side and does the same animation. Here you have some time to pre-fire, and you have to destroy those bubbles. If you have an animal character, it's pretty easy to just roll it, and here I'm just saving burst, except I didn't actually, for some reason. But yeah, I did funnel some particles back from Yelan to Furina, and that's about it. I did notice something, I did think about it after the run, is that I probably could have done Shanyun into Yelan. At the time I wasn't so sure of Shanyun's duration and how well it would line up, because I didn't really try many teams like this one. But probably better to do Shanyun first, because her burst is pretty long.
Yeah.
And they give me some heals, which is pretty nice, you know. But yeah, probably Shanyun first, because she's some 4-piece BB and Fabonius, but mostly BB so we can get a bit more damage out of Yelan's skill. And also for Yelan's burst to last a little bit longer, because that one doesn't last as long. But yeah, little tip for min-maxing if you do want to try that theme. Obviously, if I had Homa, I would have done it even better. I could probably, yeah, if I do min-max a little bit, because this was again a first tries without any retries for my part. We were available to have 3 retries. I didn't want to risk it. I usually try to not have any retries unless I really need them, or unless I really messed up something, but I definitely could have retried a little bit for some of these ones. At least Yamiko looks pretty. I do feel like that first one was way better. I do recommend to go for the one that doesn't have the shield, because the shield one does chase you around a bit more. So that you can group them up decently well whenever that happens. So then again, ooh, that's a nice little dodge. Sucrose also EC6, so getting some infusion, electro or hydro infusion can be useful. There I got the pyro though, so whatever. But yeah, I just finished that off at 908, looking nice. And we're gonna move on to this next one now. That was what am I doing? Oh yeah, the Drake. So basically for this one, the tricky thing is that you do need an archer. I didn't know if I wanted to do damage right there or start off any burst, because you didn't really do any damage. I did get pretty lucky with that animation. I think depending on your distance, maybe you can. There's a higher chance of triggering that one. Not so sure though. But yeah, as you can see, I do the sim rotations. 2 normal attacks into a charge attack, then plunge, and that does it. And then we roll it back again. Shanyun really good to get all of the snacks max. And we do a little dodge, and we just finish it off right there at 8:31. The total times, I guess I'll display somewhere. But yeah, that was my side for the semifinals, which did give me the win to move over to the finals, because it was only 1 match. But for the final, it will be 3 matches. At least it was the best of 3. And I'll be talking about it in a second. And let's just jump right to it, I guess. And
well, there goes that.
And I'm back for more yapping. Okay, so here for the finals, Futanjalan got banned right away, as you can see. No wonder why. They are 2 of my best characters, 2 of my favorites, not gonna lie. And they do pretty well. But yeah, it's okay. I was pretty worried about it, not gonna lie. Like, even if I did have the experience advantage.
Okay.
Because I've been playing every day since launch, you know. I've been playing for a long time. I don't really get tired of this game. I'm in a pretty fortunate position to be doing this, since I do Abyss for Warriors many times, and I get practice with that. And anyway,
I'm gonna go.
I decided to go for all of the draft and ban phase. Talk about it with you all here, because even though I was kinda slow at the beginning, there's so many options, and they ended up adding a timer, because, you know, it is to be expected. It is how it's supposed to be. But yeah, I ended up going for Frina again, because I feel like it's a pretty safe option. It does give you a lot of flexibility, and you can pick many things. At this point, I was a bit familiar with what Jay, my opponent, had, only because I watched the match on the previous day on the semifinals. But on my semifinals against the Irie, I didn't really know what they had much at all. So I kinda usually ban the characters I just don't really care about not using myself, that are pretty strong or don't even have at all.
2 characters.
But yeah, they
so
picked their
Shincho's
Bennett
very
Raiden
own.
combo, which is something that I like to use too. So that's rough, because if they pick it, I cannot pick it. I didn't even specify that. And I was like, dude, I kind of want to check which characters I have myself, because I kind of forget about it. I had to look it up, dude. That's right, I was so confused. But Shincho was a pretty easy choice. And Fischl, well, a pretty safe one, cannot go wrong with Fischl. And even though I knew that it was again, that I had a bit of an advantage, you never know. These picks and bans really, draft and ban or whatever it's called, really decides everything. If I mess up a little bit, I have a character that I cannot clear with, but they can clear, which they were all able to do. I mean, I guess they could mess up the same way, but it doesn't take too much to mess up and for me to just fall behind. So yeah, but something pretty important and pretty interesting. So since I have seen two official Farina, I'm not sure. I guess an animal character is one of the few things that I would want to get. Shaniuni was a guaranteed pick that we could all both get, so I was okay with picking something like that at the end, that I may or may not be doing later, who knows. Sung Lee is the one that they picked, which is just something that they went for as a safe option. Oh, and they also had a C2 Raiden, so oof, that's a bit scary, you know. What am I picking? What am I picking myself? Oh yeah, I had to look at my characters. Like, that's the other thing, right? Like, even though I like min-maxing my characters and I have a lot of fun on my account doing so, I don't spend that much time on my account doing things. I spend more time on other people's accounts. And that's feel comfy whenever I go back to mine, you know? Because I do like doing my thing on my own.
No corners.
On my own account, that is. Even though I cannot get any M-Sans for the life of me. But yeah, they went for Kazu, and I was like, no, because I did want to go for Kazu too. Who doesn't, right? But at that point, I went for Nahida. Cannot really go wrong with Nahida. I already had Shincho secured, and I was a bit worried about it, because I was like, okay, so if they pick or ban Cookie, I'm not so familiar with the pick and ban to me, so I didn't know if they were gonna be able to ban. If they just ban my Cookie, I'm in a bit of a tough situation, because that means that I cannot do Hyperbloom, because they already had Raiden and I don't have Dori, and the other electro characters for Hyperbloom are not really reliable, and they banned the Aimiko, which is rough, because last time I did run Fischl, I did run Yamiko, and she did well. She's a good character of mine that can do pretty well, especially against the worm and all of that, so definitely would have been an option. I was honestly ready to run no healer on some of these sides, but I also, especially in the second one, because it's usually not an issue, but I was scared, you know, I was scared out here. Even if I was doing pretty well myself, I was pretty nervous, because I felt like at any point I could just mess up and everything could go downhill. So yeah, that's basically what I was thinking about constantly. And at this point, I wasn't even sure what I was gonna go for. I was genuinely lost and concerned. I was like, okay, they got a C2 Raiden. I don't even know where I'm going with my teams. I mean, I knew, but I didn't, you know. Like, this felt weird. As long as I don't end up with a Eula Hyperbloom, like I've done before, it should be fine. This episode overall doesn't really have many restrictions. You basically just need a bow character on the second side, and there's obviously things that are gonna do better. But yeah, even then, it's still, you could say it's even worse, because there's so many possibilities. It's harder to decide, you know. But yeah, they picked Ganyu. I wasn't expecting a Ganyu pick. I do think Ganyu is a pretty nice one on this one, and I would have liked to use my own Ganyu. You know, the skin is looking sick. But that was with Bennett. They had Bennett already, so I couldn't really pick Shanglin. I couldn't pick any national or male Ganyu in any way. Freeze is only for the second side, and now it was my turn to pick two characters. And when you pick two characters, the good thing is that you don't have to wait for the opponent to maybe steal the second character you want, because maybe it's pretty obvious if you pick Bennett to go for Shangling, if you pick Shincho to go for Hu Tao. Well, with Shincho is not so clear because there's more possibilities, but you know, some characters do go pretty well together.
Shenha and Ayaka.
And there we go. There I picked Shenha and Ayaka, because if I pick Shenha, they're gonna be like, I have a Ganyu myself. They're gonna pick Ayaka, so I should ban Ayaka or maybe even get her myself, you know. So I couldn't pick only Ayaka because they were like, if they have Shenha, she's gonna be so strong, and they would also benefit from picking Shenha if they did have her. Then again, I wasn't so familiar with what they had. I do have my stuff pretty public, but given the situation and everything, I didn't really look into their stuff. And they picked Ayona and Ayato on that one. Ganyu and Ayato can do pretty well on freeze teams, but freeze has to be on the first side. And with Venti and crowd controllable or Ventiable enemies, it can work pretty well. And with pretty good energy management, but otherwise it can be pretty rough. And here, apparently I picked Shanyun and Cookie for my last two. I believe that's my last two if I know how to count. Shanyun and Cookie was basically because I already had Cookie, so I could do Hyper Bloom with Fischl, which is an insane team. And then I planned Ayaka technically. I would have liked Kazu instead of Shanyun, but it's technically this one like for like a plancha Ayaka, which is funny. Okay, it's just it ended up being a bit wonky. I thought I would be able to do planchas a bit better. I did the practice for a second, like after like a day after, to see how I would do planchas. Because then again, I was a bit confused because you kind of sprint, go underground. Usually with other characters you sprint, do a normal attack into the planche, but with Ayaka it takes longer for that animation to be completed. And their last pick here was Shanyun, which was pretty interesting. I wasn't expecting that. Maybe kinda to force it, since you got 15 seconds off of your time as a bonus for using any of the new characters. So yeah, in my case here, I just went for Freeze Ayaka on the first one and Hyper Bloom second.
Yep.
That's what we went with. I don't really see any other options given my teams in this case. It's not like the previous one. But yeah. And I didn't even say it, like on the previous match, even though they didn't pick like what you would usually want to go for, even if they may have panicked a little bit with their picks, they still did pretty well. And it was a shame. I've said it a bunch of times throughout these days that I felt bad every time that I was like, oh yeah, get this healing effectiveness card. Oh yeah, I'm gonna ban this character that I know you would want to use.
Hey, who knows?
It feels bad. It's rough, you know. I don't like it. But yeah, still had some fun, you know. We chill, I guess. Here's the Shenha skin, and what I wanted to do. Sometimes I was so nervous that I was forgetting what I was supposed to do. But I went a bit to the side, trying to have them together. Not like Kazu would have grouped them up. But I didn't really want to have any retries. I shouldn't have done that basic attack. I many times just don't even do that dash or basic attack, even though it's nice with Mist-Splitter. The fact that I got a hit there right out of their freeze state. God, I hate it when that happens because you never know, or like it's pretty hard to predict whenever they are gonna break out of freeze. And it was a bit inconsistent with Farina. But basically the rotations just go Shenha first, we swirl Cryo with Shanyun for the... I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, by the way, feel free to correct me or tell me how to say it. That or any names, I'm pretty open, and I know I mumble, I don't pronounce many things right, I have an accent and whatnot, but, you know, we milky out here, it's fine. It still went pretty well. It was Shenha first with all of the buffs into Swirling, then Farina, just so we could... oh yeah, I forgot I did that temple.
And then into Farina, so we can freeze. Ideally, on other teams you would use Farina first because the duration is pretty long, and that way you can drain your HP to heal at the backup, to get more of our buffs. In my case, Farina was C1. There's Shinian too, because why not? And what else did we get? Oh, that's it. Okay. Yes. Triple 4-star is kind of nice though. If you do want to see more pulls that I may or may not do at the end, feel free to stick around. I guess you could skip. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. Could skip forward. But yeah, here I like to pre-fire things while it comes back here. And yeah, ideally I like to do skills too, to get the energy back, but sometimes I don't even do it, just so I can focus on damage a bit more. But just like that, half of the boss's HP is gone. We did get the good, what is it called, the good rotation, the good movement, the good whatever, but still pretty crazy. Quick little dodge to get out of that one, and this team is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It does really well. We even have an archer. Again, I hit it when I when I like accidentally get in it. Look at that! Bam, 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 bam! God, that was crazy. I definitely shouldn't have used that Shincha burst, to be honest. But yeah, I kind of like underestimate how much damage I can do outside of burst sometimes. Cause I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I gotta get more used to that. I just gonna focus a bit too much on just finishing it off as quick as possible. When sometimes it's better to save energy. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't.
Yeah, I was just gonna
we got the healing effectiveness there, thanks to Jay. They were pretty nice, you know. It's actually for free and pretty good. But yeah, I basically do the same rotations here. They were so goofy. I do recommend watching their POV if you're interested.
Okay, I forgot for a second which chamber I was on.
I'm not playing it from my side again. So, you know, that's a good excuse to go to the other one. Here I just kind of stuck around the middle, pretending like I had Kazu to actually get some grouping. Even though with Kazu I don't think you can get the grouping all that well here. I was a bit confused on when to use or where to use the burst. I was getting dragged in, which was a bit inconvenient. I did kind of do the follow up with the rotations as you usually would, and I did kind of get lucky with that. Get that that the energy was working out so well though. Love to see some good energy. I do love my Ayaka, she's really good. But it was one of my first times using it like that, and I wasn't really using plant Ayaka to my advantage. Maybe it's not even worth doing planches, but at the very least this one though. But yeah, funnily enough, we actually did kill the Eremite. I think they're called Eremites before they summon, or before I kill the little bit.
It's weird.
So you usually want to go for it
that I can
because it lowers their resistances. Yeah, the planches for the fun of it, you know. I think I do a little bit of that on the next one. But yeah, here for the one-hit, let's go for it. Right off the bat, I get hit a bunch, it doesn't really matter. The important thing is to know that it's gonna spawn right here if you stick on this bottom left side of the map. And we're gonna be saving some of the stuff. I don't wanna go too far, I'm gonna wait for it, and now we can go. Official's burst does take us forward a little bit, so might as well use the burst to recast the official little bird, little Oz. And now it's gonna spawn right here, and we prepare things. Official being right there in the middle is pretty convenient. I wouldn't overdo it because now it's gonna do the longer attack. I was thinking of even getting closer to it to use the second skill, but it's fine. Cookie here is a really good one to knock the one because it just has really good range with the burst. Here we just use the official's burst to recast it, and then again whenever we Cookie, please get those hyperlooms. Nice. You don't do that much damage with Dendro technically, as the life frame, because you then reduce the resistances since you only do it for the elements that use roll whenever the boss is knocked down. But it's totally fine. But yeah, here once you do that, rinse and repeat. That's it. It's literally the same. I'm pretty used to it. Again, we have an emote with a little graph, or on our Discord server, you can see it too. with the explanation of everything. Then again, I'll make a TikTok talking about it. So at least that's my plan. I wanted to yap about all of these matches a bit more. But yeah, we just hop over the other side, prepare our things. Let's see if we can get the 3 stars. Time, the stars technically don't matter, it was more about the time. But it's still nice to have that, you know? There I didn't use Sincho's burst. I'm glad I didn't, that would have been awful. Yeah, that was the first one. Or the second chamber, whatever it was. Yeah, I sometimes get confused this chamber with the last one, because on a previous abyss with the same boss, we did have that one as the last one, so yeah. Coffee noises. What am I doing on this one? Little walking, so stylish. It is pretty. What are you doing, Mel? Come on. Come on. It's time to go. Zoom. There you go. So yeah, we go for the shield. No. That's why I said oopsies or something like that. Because I was supposed to go for the other one. And then getting staggered by this one is so annoying too. And here comes the pain. So, a freeze, you know, pretty good grouping. Yeah, pretty well put together. And that one breaks out of freeze for a second, which makes sense, so it doesn't get hit by the burst. It's pretty it can be a bit inconsistent. Oh, that's a shame. I went to try to do like a little plunge, but in the middle of the jump I got hit and knocked back, which was so annoying. That's the kind of thing that makes me retry. Not on a tournament, but just a normal basis. Just because I'm so silly like that. I don't like to be in a situation like that. And then, again, perfect grouping, I wait for them. And then that one breaks out of freeze. Because AoE freeze with Rina is not as good, not gonna lie. It's pretty wonky. At times, someone like Monarch can be... I would have taken Kogomi, even if that meant no healer. Even though Shannon is a healer. But even then. Anyway, back to this one. Did we get lucky? We did. Dude, I got it right, because you cannot tell me I didn't get it right in the middle, right? I did end up iframing this one, but it also got further that way, so I was like, oh, I might as well just use it. Yeah, this one I was just panicking. I kind of wanted to retry. If I really had to min-max more, I probably would. Or at least I would see what's cooking. Right outside of the Nagina verse is kind of unfortunate too, but hey. I guess if I'm inside it's still fine. Is that? Kinda. But yeah, it's basically just having the uptime on everybody at the same time. This one doesn't do all that much damage other than that spinning thing. You can usually even save the burst to iframe those. But there's not that much to it. Just having all of them at the same time. With an Ahida on field, who was also, by the way, nice 360. It's so silly. Anyway, Nahida on field, she was on a full support build because I don't have anything else. 4-piece debuts is the most important thing, to be honest, so I just keep her on that. I don't really mind having a DPS build, though if I was to do that double EM crit, EM then crit maybe. Okay. But yeah, I don't want to farm debuts. I just rather farm for Hutao. Here's the second ban phase, or picks draft and ban. Okay, so Jay's on the left, now I'm Brazilian apparently, and which is funny. And then we have Kazu and Hutao being banned. I do have a nice C2 Kazu, so I wouldn't have. It's the kind of character that I do like to use, but sometimes in some scenarios like freeze is not so convenient to have something like C2 since it uses up so many points. To not really take advantage of that. So much. But let's just do. Oh yeah. So here, since I was doing a B2 the chat was gonna pick a character out of all of the characters that I ended up picking myself. They were gonna eliminate one of my characters, which means that I only played with 7 characters, so I only was gonna play with 7 characters. So that really was mind-blowing, not because they did it, but which I think was totally fair and really good idea, but because it was like, dude, that changes things up so much. Like, it makes it so I cannot really rely on a character on a Hyperbloom cookie. or something like that, because it means that they can just ban my cookie and have one side do nothing. I cannot have like a team that relies basically on only one character, like a hyper carry, you know? Imagine like a hyper carry Raiden, but they eliminate my Raiden. So I kinda went for like some picks that were a bit more safe. They went for Nahida first, which is obviously a really good pick. I just picked Shincho and Yelan, both of them together, and both of them individually can work really well. So I think that was a pretty good pick. Also, because they picked Nahida, it means that since I got Shincho and Yelan, they didn't really have that many options for Hyper Bloom anymore. They could still run Nilo Bloom, they could still run other things, maybe more on the aggravate side of things, but that was pretty nice. And here Chad was insisting to get Venti, which they wanted to see for quite some time. But as of right now, I wanted to go for other things and play it safe, because I was like, dude, I can see everything go downhill so quick. Otherwise, maybe I would have gone for some other things a bit more out of the ordinary, you could say. But I was a bit scared. I was like, dude, I have no clue how well I'm gonna do with one less character. It's already pretty hard to pick all of the characters and to get one eliminated. Poof, I don't know about that. Oh yeah, I picked Bennett. So I got to pick two characters again. So I feel like the picking two characters at the same time is so strong. I picked Shincho Yelan and then Bennett Shangling. Cannot go wrong with that. If they do eliminate my Bennett, it's rough. It's rough, because what am I gonna do with only Shangling? For Irrational, I'll be down, but I don't have Futao, because she's banned, sadly. But yeah, that was something that I was willing to risk. You had the Bennett Shangling combo. Safe option usually is to just go for Bennett, and they usually don't pick Shangling, because you're not gonna use Shangling for the most part with Bennett, but they pick Songli to go with Xiao. Okay, so in this case, Chat was like trying to give me some advice. For the most part, I would just wasn't paying any attention to it, to be honest. Wasn't that big a deal, and I didn't have like I couldn't concentrate enough to do something like that. But I did think it was pretty funny because everybody was streaming here their point of view. So if you do want to see it, feel free to check them all out.
Let's go.
Because it was really interesting and fun from many points of views. Oh yeah, I had to check my characters again because I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, classic milk moment. So they have. I was a bit confused because they got Cookie, which means that they most likely wanted to do Hyper Bloom, and they did have Xiao and Songli, but that kinda gave me the option to ban some Hydras. I banned Kokomi. I don't even know if they have Kokomi. And they ended up having like the possibility of running a Yato, which they had from their previous one. But for some reason they ended up going for Yanfei. Which I love Yanfei, but oof. Oh no, actually they changed to Gamin. Maybe for the bonus, maybe they were focused on the bonus, I don't know. But it's not that worth it. Maybe for the fun of it, which I can respect too. I was a bit scared to do that. And then Kujisara, which was the weird pick, not gonna lie. Kujisara, and apparently, I mean, they could have picked the Kujisara on the previous one for some kind of hyper Raiden, but they didn't really do that.
Yeah, Sucrose and Yaya.
They just picked her here, which was a bit odd. And then I had Official, which is a character that can do pretty well by herself. Sucrose can be thrown in many characters, maybe national, maybe just for whatever it may be. And then I wanted healers, because I was like, what if they just destroy one of my healers? And Yaya is a really good one for that, even with no constellations. Mine is C4, but it doesn't matter. Even if you don't have constellations or anything, it doesn't really matter. And they picked Xianyun here, which was interesting. I would have loved for them to have Bennett if they were gonna do that, because the 6 Bennett Xianyun Gamin does do really well. But that wasn't the case, which was pretty unfortunate, but they still did pretty well. to be honest. Given everything they had, they did really well. I do actually commend them for that. And here comes my last character, which
for the last one.
oh yeah, and they picked Diana for the last one too.
Gonna do the unexpected.
Which was confusing too. I guess maybe because they maybe they didn't know what to have as they wanted to make sure to have an archer on the second side. But oof, I would have loved for them to pick like an Ayato. Were they out of points? I don't think so. Yeah, no. But yeah, I picked 20 as it was very much requested by my chat. They were spamming it a little bit, so I was like, you know what? I'll make them happy. Not the best choice, not the best choice, but for some it is. And you know, I can allow myself at least one goofy pick. You know, that was still useful. That was still useful. We did have the arch coverage as well as the VV, which is nice. Which is nice. Yeah, I was pretty happy with the picks and bans for like basically every single part of the tournament. I'm not even sure if I mentioned it, but I did win the first match.
To vote for one thing or the other. But if you do want to vote,
and then all of the votes and all of that were on Ringstead.
You can choose whatever you want.
That was rough. It went to Yelan pretty quick because I do have a C2 Yelan and it is pretty strong. I'm not sure what would have messed me up more, to be honest. Probably Official would have been worse. Because I could have done.
Let me see.
I don't know. I guess it would have it would have been like a Bennett Shanglin and a Shincha Yelan team, like 2 and 2, and then throw in the other ones however I can. If that was the case, which it can do still pretty well.
And Venti also helps a bit more with.
Maybe if they had banned my Official, I would have lost this one. That's the thing. Like one change like that can be so drastic, you know. And then I lose, and then I'm in a situation like that where on the next match, where they are more familiar with everything I have, and I get destroyed really quick, you know.
Is the music okay,
so I do like to play it safe. I have my trust issues, don't mind me. But in any case, I did want to go Sucrose National on the first one, because every time I've done National on any tournaments, I couldn't even. I mean, it's only once before that I had to just Mana National because of the picks and bans, and I didn't really make Shanglin shine. So yeah. But yeah, Sucrose, this one was suggested by chat for me to run it the other way around, which is something that I did consider, but I was like, I guess so. I guess I should balance the teams if I'm doing 3 characters on one side. And then Venti doesn't really help for grouping, and I still wasn't doing the strat that I was told to do. Funnily enough, Jay did actually know about the strat, I didn't. But hey, maybe I can even make another TikTok on the little strat. It doesn't have much to it though, as I explained earlier. You just run past them. Kinda even funny that Infuse Crayo though. Look at that, I'll freeze now out of nowhere. That usually happens with Casimir. But yeah, I basically went for them one by one. It's pretty lame, I know. But you know, some eventual 60Ks here is pretty nice. With Goma on the field, sometimes it's hard to get some waves. I did have to do physical Venti. Yeah, there you go. So since I have C6 many, if I do on field with any of the melee characters, I will be applying too much fire application. So yeah, I cannot really do that. Here we are though. They got deleted pretty quick. I did like Venti here. It was pretty comfy. But then again, since it was it did feel a bit iffy, and I was like, so what am I supposed to do now? Because I don't have enough energy. What am I gonna do? Like, I don't have enough energy, but I still need quite a lot to actually kill them. I was trying to go for like a Vaporn Shincha's burst, but I wasn't enough, and it's awkward when that happens, and it's a mess. But hey, we did it. We did it. What else? I also love that we have chat there supporting, you know. Thank you for everybody who was there at any given point. But here I am pre-firing. I was like, oh. I somehow infused. Honestly, I don't think I should have. Usually you have to have it right in the middle of the butterfly. And I was told again by Daro that it actually would have been better for me
to switch between official and sucrose instead of staying more on the field on sucrose, which is really interesting. I just had in mind just on fielding sucrose like you would usually, but in this case, since you don't have that much electro application with only official, I just decided to stay there. To be honest, like whatever. Recasting official too, little iframe, but yeah, you basically remove the electro with sucrose if you only on field sucrose here. So unless you have the burst, you do have an extra instance of electro application. Here trying to get it, I hate this.
Or not.
This is the kind of thing that you could easily reset for because you do lose quite some damage here. And I'm not sure if I did play this match first or if my opponent did it, Jay. But yeah, I guess if you do know their time first, it is quite the advantage too. It can be something to take into account too. But yeah, since you remove the electro aura from the, if you only on-field sucrose, it can be a bit inconvenient to just have only on-field sucrose. In this case I have sack fragment sucrose. I get that I could use to really until snapshot that to Shanglin, but I was like, whatever. We had the animation twice. I'm sure if I did better, I could actually 3-star, like on both sides. Even though it's 23 seconds is a lot, to be honest. But I did feel like I could. I didn't want to risk it, given that I could only run with 3 characters. I was like, you know, I'll take it, yeah. Maybe on the next one I do end up retrying. Here I got the less defense, more attack from Jay, which honestly is pretty nice. It's a bit more for a risk to die technically, but the defense though is not that bad.
Okay.
And they were like, they said something about Hutao, I honestly forget about it. But and I was like, wow.
So like, I
I'm sad.
wanna
It's my Hutao.
But I want.
I don't know what I said, to be honest. But we all good. We goofy. Here I did infuse power, I think, first on the guy. But I did infuse Hydro on the Ventiburst somehow, which was really nice. Even without the power infusion, we did get the 50k right there. LG for the end Venti from the first Homa and LG banner that I pulled for. It was the second ever Homa banner, I guess, right? But yeah, just got them together. Bennett into Shanglin as always, trying to get some power of BVs with Venti. And kinda using the burst partially for LG, partially for the damage, partially for the grouping, even though it can be a bit inconsistent, even if it was only pyro right here. Also cause there's some danger application from these enemies.
Bit overkill.
Pretty hard to control that really. Here it doesn't matter if we say burst, haha, no actually this is teammate. I definitely should have saved burst. It's funny that I thought of it the same way right now while watching it, but yeah. And I was a bit scared about this one because one has a lot of HP. But a quick little dodge, we did get the good animation. On this one you do have a better window to do some damage. Here in key little positioning. That was pretty nice. See how it wasn't infusing? Yeah, there I lost a lot of, I mean I didn't lose that all that much, but since I was on fielding sucrose so much I removed the electro, which wouldn't allow the sucrose burst to be infused with electro. So I guess that was a good example for that. But yeah, as always, we just follow the same rotations that I explained earlier, and there's not that much to it. If you do play around a little bit, or if you move around a bit too much, it is gonna appear somewhere else, and it is gonna get confusing. And a few times I've seen it do some weird things outside of the normal, but like it's pretty rare for that to happen. I was missing just a bit of energy, which I was pretty surprised about. But I guess it makes sense since I'm on a 3-character team. It is pretty noticeable. I think this was the 138ER official C6 with the new set obviously. Look at this dodges though. Sheesh, that was cool. And I do like to cast the official skill on the enemy. Because the first instance of damage does do a pretty good amount. But since we can pre-fire here, it's pretty cool. You see that? Pre-fire, speaking of pre-fires. I didn't really think about it much. I just did a quick shot to be like, yeah, it's gonna spawn there. And it hit the boss too, which was pretty sick. Jay pointed it out later. So. But yeah, pretty cool little thing. Technically, you know, it's a bit of added damage.
It does something. We go back here to the corner, not doing bad at all. I was getting a better idea of how well this would do, because obviously then again I was scared because I didn't know how well I was gonna do. I was like, dude, can I even complete it? I mean, I did. I guess I didn't know I would eventually complete it, but technically, you know, I didn't really have like a good idea of if that was gonna happen or not. I did get the good spawn. I got 2 out of 3 good spawns.
Thank you.
Even though this one didn't matter all that much. But yeah.
It's nerve-wracking.
And here I say.
Still is. I mean.
So things that Carly and Rin they were saying, like, dude, you go with so much confidence. You seem so chill about it.
Pop off.
When it's pretty impressive what you do. It's like,
okay.
Fair. Thank you. I'm glad it's you'll can see it like that, because me internally I'm just panicking. I mean, I'm not panicking because I am pretty used to these things, right? Not to these things like to being with more people in tournaments with where there's so much pressure, but to doing a beast to and I do know like this patterns a bit better than the average player, I guess. But yeah, I'm a bit more confident. I'm pretty confident inside the abyss, you know. That was crazy. Getting the hidden fusion with Venti does feel pretty good. I would have liked to have all of the energy right off the bat, but it does feel a bit better with Venti here. Then again, physical Venti for the win. But yeah, I was nervous all throughout, and even if I was doing well, this is still a lot in the line, you know. And I did want to do well. So, didn't want to disappoint the Milky there. You know, I did mention it too. Like, should I be nice and not ban like really good characters? Or and then everybody was like, no mercy, which is very funny too. But yeah, the first side was cleared
Can I get him?
pretty well. And that particle, like that energy particle, like I did want to get, but on tournaments I'm not sure if you're allowed or not. So I just never get them. But on a normal situation you can actually go get those, and you do get a bit of extra energy that you very much may need. Here, maybe it would have been worth it to start off with facial skill, because you usually get 100% of them either way. This time it did connect. I wasn't even sure at this point. Ooh, that was a clean 111 number though. That's cool to see. And again, back to from facial to sucrose to swallow electro first, before Yayao applies dendro. I mean, I guess technically you could use Yayao first, since she doesn't apply enough dendro like Nahida for you to not be able to swallow. I just don't like to do that over there. Yeah, 31k on cast is crazy. And then again, since sucrose has C1, well, not too bad. Here I was doing a little 360. I like to give it a bit of time, because it's more time with this boss on the ground, so you can actually do damage. If you do it right away, it's gonna take the same time for it to, or it's gonna take less time for it to just run away. And here I wasn't sure if I knocked it down, because after the last one I had trust issues. And then back to the same thing, we electro, and we're waiting to this one. PPP green. The sucrose burst with electron fusion on such a large enemy is a bit easier in this case.
After this?
Oh. I forget what this is. This is something about
like 50 something.
About I think they were talking about the pulls that the pull that I did earlier. They were like, oh, maybe after this you get lucky, and you get luckier with the pulls. And I was like, after this? Nah, I'm doing it now. They posted right there. I think originally I wasn't planning to do something like that in case it came off as me posting for the energy particles to get to me, which is something a little trick that you usually do with the book or map that sometimes is banned. So I just didn't. And I was like, oh, well, can I do my next temple? Because, this was around sub 50. I haven't checked the actual pity, but I believe this was about sub 50.
I'm so nervous right
the
now.
weapon money. I really wanted the Shanyun's weapon.
I really want the Shanyun's.
This is what I wanted.
Please.
Let's see what we get.
Oh, it's whatever, yeah. No. Not quite what I wanted.
Still pains me.
Oh, it's fine though. It's fine though.
It was a new one.
I can still definitely
It is
use
fine.
that, you know.
It is fine.
It is a new one.
Yeah. But
We'll take it.
I did want the other one. I wasn't guaranteed 50-50 on soft penny, and I wanted the other one. I'm not gonna be pulling anymore. I was okay with getting that one, but I did want the other one more as a Huta main to make those Huta teams better. I was just in a position to do so right now, so I didn't mind so much. So yeah, that's about it for the tournament. With those times I did manage to win, which was pretty sick. Honestly, Jay did really well for what they have. They definitely did better on time-wise with some of the teams that they had on the semifinals, given that they were able to use some of the characters that they used better. But it's pretty interesting to see how people can clear with just some other characters that don't synergize as well. And then again, I'm really thankful for this opportunity, really happy to have been invited, because this one was an invitational exclusive. This was just with a few content creators. I'm excited to participate in more things like this in the future, and I am planning to host things like that open to the community too, if anybody's interested in things like that. I have I do like some days where you can go against me too. I'm planning to open a channel point redeem on my Twitch, where you can also do the draft and picks against me just for practice, because I feel like that would be nice for me to practice, you know. It would be interesting, even though I may not know what you have. I think it would be pretty helpful, pretty interesting to do. But I do also do days of doing 1v1s. So if anybody wants to participate at any given point, I do have a bit of a different system where I just you can just basically run whatever team you want to on your account, and then I run it on your account right there live on stream. And you do have to screen share it or even send a video, because I know on some platforms like PS4 is a bit more complicated. That's a way of doing it. I am pretty flexible when it comes to all of those 1v1s. I have dedicated days for that where we just run it with random people that are there in chat, and I am live every single day on Twitch. So it's always nice having anybody around. If you do want to stop by and support the little Milkies, I can keep doing this. It would be very much appreciated, because we have big things coming our way. But yeah, that's how I ended up winning this tournament, which was pretty insane. Then again, looking forward to more. Thanks so much again for everybody who watched, everybody who participated, everybody who helped. I cannot thank you all enough for all of this. I'm pretty thankful. Cannot complain at all. And yeah, that's about it. I cannot express this enough. It's just pretty overwhelming, everything. I'm so lucky to be in this position. So yeah. Hopefully we can keep this up, and I'll see you all on the next one. Thank you. Stay milky.